Hi everybody, today we're going to work on changing a tire on a Onewheel GT. Now, I've never done it before, so my expert mechanic and brother Matt is going to join us. And he's going to walk me through it, so I know how, so you know how, and but we need some tools. Alright, so first we need a thingamajigger, and we need to remove these 4 screws here.
Yeah.
So we'll do that now. Alright, to remove the fender after taking out the screws, you just...
Ta-da! Alright, so now we're going to remove these 2 and these 2 before we flip it. Yeah.
4 more screws with the thingamajigger. So Matt, how often should we change a tire?
It depends on the tire, so typically 2 to 3,000 miles ish, or if you feel a lump like we have been feeling but we can't locate it, or you start to see the banding within the tire, which looks like little metal strips.
Right. We'll put some pictures in. But what's next, brother?
Flip it over upside down. And now we're going to remove bumper screws. So these are like short ones, right? And they sometimes, well, we probably marked them off. So see how they show, like, hey, there's 4.
Oh,
that's
cool.
Small. Normally they'll say on one side, it'll say, hey, small. Oh, yeah, it probably got ruined. And it says 2 instead of 4. So like these are the only small ones are on the bumpers, right? So it's like just these 2 and these 4. Every other screw is the same, so in case you get mixed up, because like, hey, what screw goes where?
Yeah.
There's only like a total of 6 tiny screws. Now we take off the regular size screws.
Okay, I like the thingamajigger. It's fitting everything so. Yeah.
Ta-da!
4.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I'm so glad you're here.
So for the front, it slides out. So you just pull on the handle.
Hammer time. Hammer time.
So what we do is just kind of put screwdriver there and just give it a little tap. Right. Yeah, there's stuff right there.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's a slow-mo shot waiting to happen.
Alright, so this is the foot pad sensor. So normally it has, if you look closely, it's got a little notch. So that's always facing up. So the board's upside down, so it'll be facing down, right? So then put it in, and you'll feel it like, I'll let you try to put it in. You'll know it's right. Because like if it doesn't go in, it's like don't force it. So the foot pads have extra little, that's fine. Extra screws holding the foot pad plate, yeah, foot pads. So you take those 2 off.
That's why we don't give him a microphone all the time.
The rear one has it too.
Oh, okay.
So it has 2 little screws holding the foot pad. So you just have to remove the foot pads so you can expose screws underneath it, which we'll get to shortly.
Alright, so viewers be warned, we're about to expose
extra screws.
The board without the foot pad. Motor?
Yeah, it's the motor connection, yep.
And we could have done that at the same time.
Yeah,
the other one. Okay.
I forgot. But it's the same process. It's got a little retaining clip.
Okay.
So now we're gonna flip the board.
Flip it.
So it's normal. Right, so here's the screws, right? Now if you disassembled the whole board, you'd remove them all. It's gonna take off one side, so we're gonna remove these 2 and these 2.
Okay, cool.
With the thingamajig.
With the thingamajigger.
We have titanium axle bolts. This is a Torx 45, right? And you're gonna remove these bolts, so you'll just like that, just to loosen them.
We're removing the titanium axle bolts, right? Is that the right term?
Yep, it secures the motor to the rails. And then the rails secure your controller and then your battery box. So once you get used to it, it's really simple to how it's put together.
Well, we just removed the axle bolts, and there's those. And now, what's next, Matt?
So next we're going to remove this rail. So just like remove the valve cap.
Alright, so what's next, brother? We're taking out the stem?
Valve stem core, so you have a little tool. It's really small.
Matt uses a 2x4. It's a hack that we saw online, and it served its purpose really well. You could get you can get a bead breaker. You can get all kinds of expensive tools. He'll probably get those eventually. You want to control that release.
The next step is breaking the beads. Normally we use a 2x4, but this is a soft tire, so we'll see if we can do it by hand. I doubt it. But
Matt went to the forest, chopped down a tree, cut it into little pieces, and got this amazing 2x4. Look how accurately he cut that. It looks.
Step is breaking the bead. Sometimes it's a pain
a bead
in the rear, pain in the bead. I just do 1 foot. There we go. Beads broke on that side, and now we flip it. Easy peasy, right?
Lemon squeezy.
Now we use what is called a tire lever, or some people like to call it a tire lever. Right? Usually, it goes, goes in on the motor side. So put the tire lever in there and get one of the bead, part of the bead out over the rim, and then you use pressure. Whoop.
And he's actually making it look easy. I know when I do it, I'll be crying.
So,
look at that.
There we go, and then you just push it out.
It's always fun to get something new. Here we go. Mailman must have got that one for us. Drum roll, drum roll. Oh, look at that! Look at this beast of a tire. Holy
Now, if you compare the size, so you can see it's a little bit thicker, or wider. So.
Whoa, man!
So normally you notice you probably won't see it, but it's a direction arrow. So.
Oh, it has a direction arrow on it?
Yep. So. Little direction arrow. We usually put the motor side in, like so.
And we don't have to take this stuff off. It's not necessary. Okay.
And then, like that.
That was easy.
Sort of.
Well, wait.
There's one more part. Yeah.
This side has to get in, and this is where it can usually take 2 people. He's got a technique that has served him well, and he may just pop this on right now without any problem.
I'll use the tire wrap. Okay. So the tire wrap, you wrap the tire, keeps the tire a little bit more compressed, and keeps the fibers inside the tire from expanding with high PSI. So I normally don't set the PSI above the max, which is for this tire is like 58 PSI or 4 bars, whatever bars mean. But hey, and then a little bit of soapy water, and the towel might help just so we don't
get
this all messy. So
all right,
we'll come right back.
things, and we'll be ready to set this bead. What we've done is we got down our, so the tire won't slide on this floor. And of course we've got a compressor, soapy water that's just in an empty bottle that you buy. You can use anything. And Matt has a tire wrap that keeps the tire from trying to expand when we're trying to focus the PSI on pop set and the bead.
This is the onewheelparts.com tire wrap.
Nice.
So you put the non-Velcro side, start, and then you just kind of, this thing here, it's a light tire. So it might pick up the towel.
All right. There we go. We started doubling over itself now. We've got our towel. And we're going to put it in the slime right now? Or?
No, we're going to
set the bead first.
Set the bead first, and then so we're going to put a little soapy water around the bead. Excuse the noise.
What are you setting that at?
Normally like maybe 40.
40.
We're gonna see if it starts moving. It may not. May have to. Oh, there we go. Yep. And then we'll start to see it move. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yep. There's one. That's pretty good. Around 5 and 7 PSI compared to some take like 20, 30.
All right, well, we're back with the slime as we talked about. And like I said, there's different brands, different ways you can get it at, like Home Depot, you can get it in other places for cars. All of it seems to work pretty good. Now, there are different ones that say they work better for this application. It costs a little more money unless you buy them in bulk. To each their own. There's a lot of good and mixed reviews. Peace of mind is worth a certain amount of money. So if you think having the better brand, when it costs more, maybe it's thicker. Usually they have different colors so you can tell which one you're using. Then just go with that. We happen to have the green one right now. It served us pretty well in the past. He's going to put in 2 squeezes, and then we're going to spin the tire so that it equally coats in there. You want an adequate amount of this slime to be circulating like a thin layer around the inside of the tire as it spins. And then if there is a puncture, that leak, the PSI going right to that hole, is going to facilitate pushing the slime into that hole, which has coagulants, makes it clot. So we've seen inside of tires before that where we had a lot of little clot holes. So it had been punctured, but we never knew it because the slime did its job. So we're believers. A little messy when you take the tire off, but not huge.
Yeah.
No big deal. All right, so we're gonna pump it up with some slime.
Yep.
See how it's going down. He's just gonna squeeze a little bit in, and you guesstimate. You don't want a whole lot. You don't want it sloshy.
Usually 8 ounces. So if you get some sort of sealant for tires or for one wheel specific, they'll have them in 8 ounce or 16 ounce. That should be cool.
Cool. All right, there we go. Slime is in. You shouldn't see any of it. Obviously, the beads are set. And now all we have to do is inflate it after we're going to spin it, right? We're going to spin it one time just to put it around. He's going to put the stem back in so it doesn't leak out on us. That valve, the core, is a one-way valve. So it won't allow anything inside to come out. It's a one-way valve. So once we get that bad boy set back in there, then we'll kind of manually spin the tire to coat it.
Yep.
And then we'll apply the PSI, put the air in the tire basically. So all these little tools, these little doohickeys, little kits for taking out the valve, they have extra cores. Take extra cores. It's worth having. If you lose the core or something, you don't want to stop your rolling. But we don't have any dedicated source for a lot of these things. We just have gotten them off.
Oh, this might just spin. Yeah, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Best way really is like this. Yeah, it's like.
Do the roller exercise, man. Get your hands on fire right now.
Yeah, I would if it had the other side. But it probably ruin
That's an ab roller too. Did you know that?
Ruin the motor.
Add that to your expenses. If you think about the one wheel's not just a recreational toy. It's an ab roller. You can take it apart and use it as an ab roller. All right, cool.
At 13.
Auto stop at 13 PSI. Pretty cool. You gotta get one of these. This is by Husky, which is the Home Depot brand. A little portable. It has enough rapid inflation to set beads. You can get other air pumps, but they don't fill up as fast or fast enough to give you that surge of PSI. So you probably have leaks sometimes around where the bead should set. So it's really important. This one has served Matt pretty well. There's CO2 cartridge inflators. With the proper CO2 cartridges can serve the purpose of setting a bead as well. But this has worked well for Matt, you know?
Yep.
So, all right, cool. So there you have it. It's up to 13 PSI, which is typically a little hard for me, but we're trying to see what the tire is going to behave like and what it's going to feel like when we ride. But really impressive tire.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so talk me through the assembly here.
So the next part, you can bring what's left of the board.
All right.
So what you're gonna do is carefully keep this where it's at, making sure that the holes are lined up, which they are. So, and then you see there's a little notch, right?
Oh, okay.
And then there's a notch right here.
Oh, on the valve side.
Yeah.
Because that's the way we took it apart, right?
Yeah. So, then what you do is carefully line it up.
Oh, the notches?
Yep.
Oh.
So, since everything's still, there we go.
Oh, like that?
Right? And then just kind of set it down in place and then put the axle bolt.
Pay attention to these hacks.
Yeah.
Jonathan, in the future, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Come on, remember the hacks.
Now you can grab the
doohickey
thing off of the thing. Yep. No, the ratchet.
Oh, yeah, because we have to have it, and then we're going to reverse this, right?
Yep.
And then,
that way it's tight. So we get this side on because, you know, I look at it as like this is like the foundation, you know, like, hey, if you get this side on carefully.
And you don't want to force it. All right, guys, I'm talking to you. Sometimes we're prone to do might as right. If something doesn't go, we put a little more elbow grease into it. Not a good idea. You know, part of the professionalism that Matt has, he's learned from that mistake as I have too, is
busted screws.
Busted screws, stripping stuff out, then you have to get new, sides, and so take your time. It should go like it wants to go. Yeah, you don't need muscle power on this one.
No.
Once you get it all the way in, how do you know how tight is it now?
Just tight, like hand tight, really, for these, because the factory does, they won't give us the torque setting. Like, if you had a torque wrench, like, oh, hey, it's this many foot-pounds.
So it's okay to tighten both of these, like in the beginning, or do you tighten one and the other and one and the other, like with the tire?
Oh, yeah. Not necessarily.
Okay.
Sometimes I do, but like for quickness, it's like, hey, get this side secured. So it's like, hey, now I have pretty much the boards assembled. Now I could put, we'll connect the motor, and then we'll put the other rail on, and then kind of loose on this side with the axle bolts until we get everything, it goes back together correctly, because sometimes you have to put it together loose because things are a little out of alignment, and so the screws won't always go back the same way.
Okay.
All right. So next,
side. Would it be the other side?
No. Next, connect the motor cable.
Ah, the cables. We talked about that before.
Yep. So this one.
All right.
This, it is pretty self-explanatory. It's like, okay, that would be like your guide, right?
All right. Can I turn it on its side? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Cool. Let's do it like this, just in case.
Yeah.
There's a chance for you guys to see.
So if you look at the plug here,
right?
See how you see the 3 gold? Yep. And it's the same
it
fashion.
It does want to go in.
Yep.
So
and then just
righty-tighty, turn it towards me until it stops like that.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you can give it a tug and make sure that it doesn't come off.
You don't want this to come disconnected. What'll happen is you'll nose down. So as you're riding, if you lose your sensor or if you lose your power, it'll shut off. And usually you have a lot more weight distribution on the front tire, and you'll go down. If you don't know how to recover from that, you'll need it. Yeah, you'll lose some skin.
So now the other rail.
The other rail, again.
Ta-da!
So, see that little GT?
And it's perfect that you have it like this, so that way this side is exposed, because sometimes rails don't always fit correctly, so you have to kind of wiggle it and make sure it's correct. because the battery has to fit inside the rail.
Ah.
Those have to fit in the rail.
So like this, right?
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything I need to be lining up besides the obvious holes? Oh, okay, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, so
okay.
It's all stock, so it's not too bad. But with like aftermarket rails, it's meh.
And I just use puffy acrylic paint, which is kind of fun. On the base, I used reflective tape to mimic the pattern I had on my thing. And these are actual rocks. I just got them outside and glued them on there. So if you're a rough rider and flipping your board all the time, probably not the best option. But I just wanted to do something fun.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it
personal.
That's cool, you know, and if it does scrape,
it's pretty durable, right? It feels like rubber.
Yeah.
And these are going in easily. I'll probably do like you said, is use the tip here.
Yep.
There's a little resistance, but it's normal. It doesn't feel like I'm rethreading anything.
We won't torque it down just yet.
Okay.
Just like finger tight for now, because then we'll make sure all the screws line up.
Oh, okay. Again, lesson to the experience. We've done many of these and made quite a few mistakes, and so we're getting a lot of experience through Matt right now. And of course, our charging port is good to go. And I'm surprised all the rocks have stayed. Actually, they're really in there. I use super glue, by the way. So these you have side protectors you can buy. These are just double-sided glued on here. And then I painted over those. So it's not the original. I can take these off at any time and then have the original sides. And there's a bunch of different themes you can get for not only your wheel cover, what is it called?
Fender, yeah.
Fender and your sides if you don't want to get all creative like this. And they look pretty cool, all different colors.
So now,
all right,
we just kind of adjust.
Oh, where the screws are going. When Matt's not here, I'm going to put a little drop of paint on all these so I know which ones go in. All right, he's putting them in. He's making it Jonathan-proof so I can handle this.
Yep.
And
yeah, you just remember, like, you have 6 tiny screws that go on the bumpers, 4 in the back, 2 in the front. Next is the front foot pad. That's the one that has a cable on it. Yep. Now, sometimes, you know, I mean, you can still put it on the connector, but sometimes it helps. You know, you hold it by the back end of it, and it has an arrow too, right? And then it doesn't always work because this one's a little bit shorter. So you grab it from underneath, and then wiggle it.
oh, cool.
And then you'll feel it, and then
Just tie that.
yeah. So sometimes you have to do a couple fingers. Make sure it's on. Okay. This is the one that will spin if you go too far. But
Ooh, good thing we found that out.
yeah, so you want to double check that it's all the way in. And then sometimes, there we go. You see how it
Yeah, I did.
went in a little bit more? Mm-hmm. And then tighten it by hand.
If you over tighten it, it can actually
Break the retainer.
It'll go around again.
Yeah.
And this
So now if you pull on it,
no, it's definitely on.
Yeah.
You want to watch that because of vibration. And Matt has had one that come disconnected when he was riding. And what happened was, it ended up making him throw his board into the wall a couple times. And it wasn't his fault because the thing was disconnected. So it actually caused him to be kind of
Angry.
obsessed, and he threw it against the wall.
yeah,
But it didn't connect again, so he had to take it off.
yeah,
All right, so now screws.
yeah.
All right.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm glad I saw how you tugged on that because that gave me more confidence.
Yeah, because now because I had those accidents, it's like, I want to make sure. Now we can get the rear one a little bit easier. Yep. Super.
Slide.
Yep.
Wasn't one of these that slid on there or no?
No, it's the bumper.
Oh, it's the bumper.
Yep.
And you can use power tools with this, but it's real risky because if it strips it, then you have to new screws.
Yeah.
So if you have a really low setting, you know, the torque setting on your power tool, it won't turn any tighter. You figured that out. You could use it, but again, you don't want to
Yeah.
these. So it's a good time to bond with your board and just talk to it
And just do it by hand.
Do it by hand. Okay.
Flip it over, upside down is fine.
So remember guys, the front pad has the sensors on it. This is the most important because it has electronics. And so you want this to be connected well.
Yep.
Make sure you know, if in doubt, if you pull on it.
I'll be careful because they're not secured all the way yet.
Flipped.
Yep.
And here we go. Belly up.
So there's a screw there and a screw there. Yep.
All right, the only thing left to do is just button this up and then take it for test drive.
Oh yeah.
Again, our connectors are on solid. Matt made sure of that. We need the screws for here, right?
Yep, so you can start tightening those. But I usually do the short ones, all the short ones first, and then do the last long ones.
So Matt gave us some tips, you know, when you put all the screws in a little baggie or in one of those metal magnetic trays or something like that. Before you reassemble, go ahead and separate them by size. So that way you don't accidentally put a small one in a place where you should have put a longer one or whatever. Yeah.
Alright, and then the two long ones.
Alright. Nice.
I usually just group them, you know, like sometimes you'll see on my workbench, like I'll have them like, oh hey, you know, here's the front. These are the two bumpers right in the front that secure to the foot pad, and these two are just the bumper to the rail, and then these four are the fenders.
Okay.
Alright.
Cool.
So now slide the front bumper on. Alright, the two short ones.
Here, right?
Yep. Think of it like on the actual part of the bumper. Yeah. And like the long screws are the ones that secure the foot pad, so they're towards the end of the board.
Okay, that makes sense. So he's going to do a sensor test next. Actually, I'm going to leave the topless when we test ride it. I kind of want to see the tire.
Yeah.
As we go around the complex here, maybe we'll record parts of that and show it to you guys, although it's nighttime here. But we'll get a little test ride in. Really important to test ride with your mechanic.
Yeah.
If you have any complaints, you can mention it before you trust it on the trip, right?
Yep.
All right, what are we doing now? Tighten down the side ones?
Yeah. I already tightened the battery side. This is the motor side, upside down.
And he's doing, he's doing it for a skill set. You don't want to over tighten them, but you don't want them loose either, guys. They use 2 bolts on purpose for stability, and the tire doesn't come.
Now you can flip it over though.
Now it's going to be a little more secure to flip over.
Yep. So it's like woohoo, fenderless, and it's always good to check that everything works back together. There we go. Get sprayed.
Cool.
Voila.
So again, Matt has modified this so that if you touch one side in the beginning, it's like touching both. And a few seconds after you're riding, it goes to independent sensors again.
Ooh, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. So we're gonna take it for a test drive like this. Like I said, I want to see the tire, and then later all we have to do is put on our wheel cover fender.
Yep.
Again, I customized this with acrylic and some reflective tape. This one I actually sprayed to secure everything, but now you can get creative. This board is called Mantis, so I have a Mantis on here. Of course, I was in the Navy and our church, different things here, and my company I work for, I put some stuff on there. So, stuff with you guys.
Oh yeah.
For test drive, Matt's wrapping up his equipment, making sure we don't have any extra parts. These 4 screws go to my fender.
Yep.
So we have no extra parts. That's a good sign. And that's about it. So join us on the test ride, and that's how you change a tire on a GT. That's by our mechanic Matt. And for my records, so I can see how to do it next time if he's not here.